St. Peter stands there at the pearly gates, and he asks the first guy, "Tell me about the day you died." The guy takes a deep breath, looking like he's about to burst. "It was horrible, man. I was sure my wife was cheating, right? So I come home early to catch her in the act. I search the whole damn house, can't find anyone. I go out on the balcony, and I see this guy hanging off the 25th floor, barely holding on by his fingers. I freak out, go inside, grab a hammer, and start smashing his fingers one by one. He drops, but hits the bushes, so I figure, no big deal. I get this crazy idea and grab the fridge, shove it off the balcony. It crushes the bastard, but as I'm pushing it, my heart gives out. I die from the strain. St. Peter nods, thinking, yeah, that's a pretty bad day. You're in. The next guy steps up, and St. Peter asks, what about you? Tell me how you died. The guy sighs. You wouldn't believe it. I'm doing my aerobics on the balcony of my 26th floor apartment when I twist my ankle. I slip, fall, grab the balcony below, but some lunatic starts smashing my fingers with a hammer. I fall into the bushes, thinking it's over, but then this idiot drops a fridge on me. St. Peter can't help but wince. Yeah, that's bad. You're in. The third guy steps up, looking real nervous. St. Peter asks, and you? How did you die? The guy sighs and says, okay, picture this. I was with a married woman, and suddenly we hear a door noise and she shouts, quickly, hide inside the fridge.
In class one day, the teacher was encouraging everyone to use the word responsibility in a sentence. Susie raised her hand first and said something sweet about helping her mom with the dishes. The teacher nodded, smiling. Excellent work, Susie. Who's next? Little Johnny, the kid who always has a smirk like he just found your search history, raised his hand. The teacher hesitated. She knew better by now, but called on him anyway. Johnny leaned back in his chair and said, Miss, you're wearing a pink bra, size 36, with 4 hooks at the back. 3 of the hooks are undone, leaving the responsibility of holding everything in place to just 1. The class went silent. The teacher turned bright red, and little Johnny, he got detention.
As a nun, I've seen my fair share of things in the parish, but nothing quite like Father O'Malley. The old man had enough of hearing about adultery from the parishioners during confessions. One Sunday, he finally had enough. He stood up during his sermon and said, if one more person confesses to adultery, I'll quit this job. So the clever folks in the congregation decided to come up with a code. Fallen. That was the word. If someone had cheated, they'd just say they fell. At first it worked great. Father O'Malley was happy, and the people got their confessions off their chests. Everyone was satisfied until Father O'Malley passed away at 93, God rest his soul. Then a young, naive priest took over, a real greenhorn. He paid a visit to the mayor, and you could tell he was concerned. He says, Mayor, you need to fix the sidewalks here. I can't tell you how many people come into the confessional talking about falling. The mayor starts laughing because, of course, no one bothered to clue in the young priest about the code. Before the mayor could even explain, the priest pointed at him, all stern, and said, I don't know why you're laughing. Your wife fell 3 times last week.
I'm cruising in my brand new BMW convertible, right? Gorgeous day, top down, feeling good. I see a kid hitchhiking, so I pull over. As he hops in, he whistles, and this massive yellow dog comes charging out of the woods. I'm like, wait a second, buddy, that dog's filthy. I got leather seats in here. He shrugs. No worries, mister. He'll run alongside the car. I think whatever, and we take off. I'm showing the kid all the features, feeling pretty damn smooth. Then I realize, where the hell's the dog? I check my speedometer, 60 miles per hour. No way this dog's keeping up with me. Kid smirks. There he is. Told you, he's fast. I speed up to 70. Is he still there? Yep, still keeping up, the kid says. I floor it to 90, yelling, still there. The kid just nods. He's breathing hard, but still there. I slam the brakes, jump out to check. There's the dog right next to me, no problem. I'm stunned. That's the fastest dog I've ever seen. Then I notice a pink ring around his neck. What the hell is that? The kid says, oh, that's not a collar, that's his butthole.
I'm sitting at the cafe with my girlfriends, and we're swapping the usual dirt about our husbands. Samantha leans in, all giggles, and says, "You know, it's so weird. Every time I'm going down on Peter, his balls are cold as ice." Jenny pipes up, "No way! Same with Richard, I thought it was just me." Now, they both look at me, waiting for my input. I shrug and go, I'm not putting that in my mouth." Jenny rolls her eyes and says, "Girl, no wonder you're still complaining about Chris straying. A good job is the only way to keep a guy in line. Just give it a try." I don't know why I let them get to me, but later that night, I think, fine. Let's see if this actually works. So I do it. I go down on Chris for the first time. Fast forward to this morning, we're back at the cafe, and I'm sitting there glum as hell. Jenny notices and asks, "What's wrong?" I sigh and say, "Chris and I are getting a divorce." Jenny gasps, "Oh my God, why?" "I don't know. All I did was mention how warm his balls are compared to Peter's and Richard's. He completely lost it."
I'm this rich prick living in Australia, throwing a massive pool party at my mansion. Drinks are flowing, people are flirting, the usual. I'm feeling cocky, so I tell everyone, I've got a 15-foot man-eating croc in the pool. I'll give $1 million to anyone who jumps in. No one moves. Then, bam, out of nowhere, this guy, Brian, the only real Aussie in the crowd, jumps in. I mean, the guy doesn't hesitate. He's fighting the croc like he's been training for this his whole life. Punches, kicks, eye jabs. He's flipping the thing around like it's a rag doll. The croc's screaming. The pool's a war zone. And then, in what feels like an eternity, Brian chokes the damn thing out, drags it to the top like it's nothing, and climbs out, all covered in blood and croc guts. I'm staring, barely able to breathe. "All right, Brian, you won. I guess I owe you $1 million." Brian looks at me completely unfazed. "Nah, don't need it." I'm confused as hell, so I try again. I offer him a Porsche, Rolex, stock options, everything I can think of, and he's just shaking his head. Finally, he looks me dead in the eyes and says, "I want the bastard who pushed me in."
So, my husband thinks he's clever, right? One day, I get this letter from him. He writes, "Dear wife, I'm sure you'll understand that at 54, you just don't satisfy me anymore. I love you, but I've got certain needs, and I'm going to spend the night with my 18-year-old secretary at the Comfort Inn. I'll be back before midnight, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way." So I sit there reading this pathetic excuse for a letter, and I'm like, oh, hell no. I can't let him get away with this. So I write my own letter and leave it on the dining table for when he gets home. It goes like this. "Dear husband, thank you for being honest about me being 54. But let me remind you, you're also 54. And let's be real, you're not exactly a spring chicken either. I just wanted to let you know that while you've been out with your little secretary, I've been spending my time with Michael. He's one of my students, and like your secretary, he's 18. And just to add some extra spice, he's also an assistant tennis coach. I'm sure you'll understand that we're in pretty much the same situation. But here's where the numbers game comes in. 18 goes into 54 a hell of a lot more times than 54 goes into 18. P.S. Don't bother waiting up. I'm not coming back until I've had my fill. Enjoy your little fling."
I'm in this dive bar last night, and Larry, this self-proclaimed hotshot hunter from Mississippi, is holding court, bragging about how he's the best damn hunter alive. Everyone knows Larry's a good shot, but he's really laying it on thick. Then some guy from out of state pipes up, "If you're so good, prove it." Larry, never one to back down from a challenge, slams his beer and says, "All right, blindfold me. I'll identify any animal skin you bring me and tell you how it was killed. If I'm right, you buy me a beer. Deal?" The guy agrees, thinking he's got Larry beat. The bartender ties a blindfold on him and they hand him the first skin. Larry feels it for a second, then declares, "Bear, shot with a .308 rifle." Dead on. The bar erupts. They bring him another. He takes a moment, then says, "Elk, shot with a 7mm mag." Spot on again. Skin after skin, beer after beer, Larry nails it every time. By the end of the night, he's blind drunk but undefeated. He finally stumbles home, collapses into bed, and passes out cold. The next morning, he wakes up, looks in the mirror, and sees he's got a massive black eye. Confused, he stumbles into the kitchen and asks his wife, "What the hell happened? I don't remember getting into a fight last night." She glares at him and says, "You want to know what happened? You came to bed, put your hand down my panties, felt around, and then shouted, 'Skunk! Killed with an axe.'"
Landed a new job, and my boss makes me an offer. If you marry my son, I'll make you a partner, give you an expense account, a Mercedes, and $1 million salary. I'm curious, so I ask, what's wrong with him? He shows me a photo, and honestly, he's not exactly what you'd call a looker. He's pretty rough on the eyes. The boss adds, not just ugly, he's as dumb as a rock. I reply, no thanks, no matter what you offer. But he ups the ante. How about a $5 million salary and a mansion in the Hamptons? I think it over, and I figure I can always put a bag over his head when things get intimate. A year later, I'm hanging an original Van Gogh that I bought with all the money I made. I climb up on the ladder and call out to my husband, bring me a hammer. He mutters, get the hammer, and grabs it. Then I say, get me some nails. He grumbles, get the nails, and hands them over. After trying to hang the painting, I realize the nail won't hold, and I shout, I think I'll need a screw. He mutters under his breath, get the bag.
I've been with Jessica for over a year. Everything's perfect. We're engaged, planning the whole damn thing. But there's one small issue, her little sister. Yeah, the 20-year-old with a body that could make even the Pope sweat. Always wearing those skirts so short, they make my car's air conditioning look modest. And the blouses? Don't even get me started. Every time she bends down, I get a front row seat to the show. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know she's doing it on purpose. She never does it when anyone else is around, just me. One day I get a call from her. Jacob, come over and check the wedding invites, she says. So I do, right? And when I get there, she's all alone. She pulls me aside and she whispers something that almost made me choke on my own breath. I've got feelings for you, Jacob, she says. I can't shake them, and honestly, I don't want to. Then she drops this bomb. She wants to f me just once before I get married. I'm standing there frozen, not knowing whether to run or just laugh. So she tells me, I'm going upstairs to my room. If you want it, come get it. I'm still in shock as I watch her walk up those stairs. And then, as if to seal the deal, she pulls her panties off and throws them down at me. I'm thinking, what the hell just happened? But instead of climbing up those stairs, I turn around and walk right out the front door. And there she is, Jessica's mom, standing on the porch, tears in her eyes. She hugs me and I'm thinking, oh shit, here it comes. She says, we're so proud of you, Jacob. You passed our test. Welcome to the family. I look back at that moment, and now I live by one motto. Always keep your condoms in the car. You never know when some weird family test will pop up.
So, this trial is happening in some tiny Texas town, right? The prosecuting attorney, let's call him Alex, calls his first witness to the stand. It's this sweet-looking old lady, Mrs. Thompson, all gray hair and glasses, the kind of grandma who bakes cookies for her neighbors. He steps up and asks, Mrs. Thompson, do you know me? She looks at him like she's remembering something from a past life and says, oh, I know you, Alex. I've known you since you were just a little boy running around in diapers. And let me tell you, you've been a big disappointment. You lie, you cheat on your wife. Hell, your wife probably deserves better. And those little rumors you spread behind people's backs? Pathetic. You think you're all big time now, but you're too dumb to ever make it anywhere. Yep, I know you. The courtroom goes dead silent. Alex is standing there like he just got slapped in the face. Doesn't know what to say. So in a panic, he points to the defense attorney. Mrs. Thompson, what about him? Do you know him? Mrs. Thompson says, oh, I know him all right. I used to babysit that little shit when he was a kid. Used to wipe his nose and make sure he didn't stick his hand in the cookie jar. She shakes her head, disgusted. And let me tell you, he's been just as much of a disappointment. Lazy, drinks like a fish, can't hold down a relationship for more than a month. Hell, his law practice is a joke. Half the states tried to sue him for malpractice, but he still thinks he's some big shot. Yep, I know him too. Now the judge is getting nervous, banging his gavel. All right, enough, both of you, come here. He pulls both lawyers aside, voice low and threatening. I'm warning you both right now. Don't you dare ask her if she knows me.
So, I'm driving down the interstate just minding my own business, doing 55, and my wife looks over at me with that dead serious look in her eyes. She goes, honey, I know we've been married for 15 years, but I want a divorce. Now, I don't say anything. I just hit the gas, bump it up to 60, let her stew in it. Then she drops the bomb. I don't want you to try to talk me out of it because I've been having an affair with your best friend and he's a better lover than you. I don't even flinch. Just push it to 70. My blood's starting to boil. Then she says, I want the house. I hit 80. She keeps talking. I want the kids too. I don't even blink. 90 now. The car's shaking with the tension. Then she demands, I want the car, the checking account, and all the credit cards too. And I'm not even fazed at this point. I'm just looking at that bridge ahead, feeling my blood pressure rise as the car keeps accelerating. She asks, is there anything you want? And that's when I look at her and say, no, I've got everything I need. She's puzzled. Really? What's that? I slam the wheel to the side, heading straight for that overpass pillar, and I just grin. The airbag, you bitch.
I'm sitting on a plane when this guy sits down next to me. He's got this massive black Labrador retriever with him, sitting right between us. I'm like, what the hell is this dog doing here? The guy turns to me and goes, oh, he's an undercover police sniffing dog. His name's Sniffer, and he's the best at what he does. I'll show you once we're airborne. I raise an eyebrow but don't say anything. The plane takes off, we hit cruising altitude, and he tells Sniffer to search. The dog jumps down and starts sniffing around the aisle like a damn professional, then plops down next to a woman for a few seconds. Sniffer comes back, puts a paw on the guy's arm, and the agent says, good boy, that lady's got weed. I'm noting her seat for the cops when we land. I'm impressed. Pretty neat, right? So the agent sends Sniffer to search again. The dog sniffs around, sits by a dude for a sec, then goes back to the agent and puts 2 paws on his arm. The guy says, that man's carrying cocaine. Noted. I'm thinking, shit, this dog's good. Then the agent sends Sniffer out again, but this time, the dog's sniffing up and down the aisle like he's lost or something. All of a sudden, Sniffer races back, jumps right into the middle seat, and shits all over it. I'm staring at this, completely grossed out. What the hell? This well-trained dog is just pooping everywhere? I look at the agent and ask, what the hell's going on? He's sweating now, and he goes, he just found a bomb.
I'm a young guy who just moved to California, right? I need a job, so I walk into this big box store, and the manager asks, got any sales experience? I tell him, yeah, back home I was pretty good at it. The manager looks me up and down and says, all right, you can start tomorrow. I'll swing by after we close and see how you do. The first day was rough, but I made it through. After the store's locked up, he comes down to check on me. He asks, so how many people bought something from you today? Just one. He's shocked. Just one? Our guys average 20 to 30 customers a day. I nod. Yeah, well, I made up for it. The sale was over 125 grand. His jaw drops. Wait, what? What the hell did you sell for that much? I lean back. Well, first I sold him a fish hook. Then I sold him a new fishing rod. He's nodding, intrigued. Okay, that's normal. What else? He told me he was heading down the coast, so I said, you're gonna need a boat. Took him to the boat department and sold him a twin-engine Boston whaler. The manager's eyes are wide. Wait, how does that lead to $125,000? I keep going. Then he says his Civic can't pull it. So I take him to the automotive department and I sell him an Expedition. The manager is stunned, like he can't believe it. Hold up, a guy came in to buy a fish hook and you sold him a boat and a truck? Nah, man, the guy came in to buy tampons for his wife. I told him, dude, your weekend's shot. You should go fishing.
So there I was, stranded in the middle of the Sahara Desert with a priest. We'd been trekking for days, and on the 3rd day, just like that, the camel drops dead. No warning, nothing. We're left standing there looking at each other and this useless corpse in the sand. After a long silence, the priest sighs and says, well, sister, this is grim. I don't think we've got more than a day or 2 left. I nod. I agree, Father. Then he looks at me, and I can tell he's got something on his mind. Finally, he says, sister, since we're probably not going to make it out of here alive, could you do something for me? Of course, Father. What is it? I've never seen a woman's breast before. Could I see yours? At this point, I'm thinking, well, what does it matter now? So I open my habit and let him take a good long look. He seems pretty satisfied. Then I say, Father, could I ask something of you? He says, anything, sister. I say, I've never seen a man's, could I see yours? He hesitates, but then he drops his robes. I stare for a moment, and then he gets this gleam in his eye and says, sister, if I put this in the right place, it could create life. I glare at him and say, then stick it up that camel's ass and let's get the hell out of here.